40 feet of animal hangs motionless in blue water. The mouth opens, 5 feet across, wide enough to swallow a person whole, and lined with thousands of tiny rasping teeth. This is a mouth built to inhale everything in front of it. And then a fish the length of your hand swims straight inside. It doesn't panic, it gets to work. Now watch what the giant does. Nothing. It doesn't close. It doesn't swallow. It doesn't twitch. The little fish moves across the roof of the mouth, past the gill rakers, deep into the throat cavity. It's standing inside the machinery of a 20-ton filter feeder, and the machinery has been switched off. Here's the part that should stop you cold. This animal eats small, schooling fish. That's the diet. Tiny fish, plankton, anything that fits. It feeds by pulling in enormous volumes of water and straining out whatever's inside. And the cleaner fish swimming down its throat is exactly the size, exactly the shape, and exactly the type of thing it eats every single day. So why doesn't it swallow? This is a reflex refined over millions of years. Water in, food out, automatic, no decision required. And somehow the largest fish in the ocean overrides that reflex on purpose, while potential prey is dancing on its tongue. That's not tolerance. That's a deliberate shutdown of the one behavior keeping it alive. In the next few minutes, you'll find out how the little fish pulls this off. There's a physical trick involved, actual contact, and you'll find out why the giant needs it so badly that it will hold still and accept the risk. This isn't kindness, it's survival. If deep ocean strangeness is your thing, subscribe now. The animal is a whale shark, Rhincodon typus, the largest fish alive. Confirmed individuals reach around 40 feet. Some reports run longer. Weights climb past 20 tons. It is not a whale. It's a shark, with cartilage instead of bone, and gills instead of lungs. And despite the size, it has never hunted anything the way you imagine a shark hunting. Its feeding method is closer to industrial than predatory. The mouth opens. Water floods in. Inside, spongy filter pads catch anything solid. The water exits through the gills. The food stays. A large whale shark can process thousands of gallons of water in an hour. It's a living pump, running constantly, straining the ocean for anything edible. It does have teeth, roughly 3,000 of them, in rows across the jaw. But they're tiny, millimeters, useless for biting or tearing. Scientists still argue about what they're even for anymore. Evolutionary leftovers, most likely, which means this giant kills nothing. It simply swallows, and that turns out to be the entire problem. Because a filter feeder doesn't choose. It doesn't inspect its food. It doesn't decide, item by item, what goes down. Whatever is suspended in that column of water goes in with everything else. Plankton, fish eggs, small fish. It's volume, not selection. So a 4-inch fish inside that mouth should already be gone. Statistically, it shouldn't survive the first second. The fish in question is often a bluestreak cleaner wrasse, Labroides dimidiatus, 4 inches, maybe 5, slim body, a bold dark stripe running the length of it, from nose to tail. No venom, no armor, no speed that matters at this scale. Nothing about it should let it walk into a mouth this size and come back out. But that stripe is not decoration. In the reef, it's a signal. Bold, high contrast, unmistakable at a distance. Most small reef fish evolve to blend in and disappear. This one evolved the opposite way. It made itself impossible to miss, because its entire survival strategy depends on being recognized before it gets close. The cleaner wrasse has a job. It eats parasites off other fish. That's the whole living. Copepods, isopods, dead skin, mucus, debris. It removes them from bodies far larger than its own, and it does this in fixed locations on the reef that biologists call cleaning stations, permanent addresses, open for business, all day, every day. And here's what divers actually film there. A line, fish waiting, groupers hovering, eels holding position, rays hanging in the water column, animals that would eat a cleaner wrasse without hesitation anywhere else on that reef, queuing up and holding still. They arrive, they wait, they get serviced, they leave. It looks like a business, because functionally, it is one. Then something enormous rolls in from open water. A whale shark off the migration route, drifting toward the station. It slows, it stops swimming, and it does something no feeding animal should do. It hangs almost vertically in the water, or tilts and holds, motionless, waiting. A 20-ton nomad, parked, with its mouth flaring open. That gesture is the crux of the whole thing. It isn't accidental. The animal is not feeding when it does this. It's presenting, opening the mouth, exposing the gills, offering access to the most vulnerable interior surfaces it has, voluntarily, to something it eats. Nobody watching that for the first time believes what they're seeing. And this is where it stops being a nice story about cooperation, because a reflex doesn't care about intentions. The whale shark can want to hold still all it likes. Its nervous system has spent a lifetime learning one rule: small thing in mouth, swallow. Something has to physically interrupt that. And the little fish is the one who does it. Watch closely and you'll see it. The cleaner doesn't just swim in and start eating. It touches. It brushes the surfaces around it with its pelvic fins in a light, repeated stroking motion. On reef fish, this behavior is well documented. It's deliberate. It's part of the routine, and it changes the client's physical state. Researchers have measured what that touching does. In studies on reef species, tactile contact from cleaner wrasses lowers stress hormone levels in the fish being cleaned. Cortisol drops. The animal becomes calmer, more tolerant, and stays longer. The little fish isn't just working. It's sedating its client with its own fins. The effect on a whale shark, as it looks from outside, is close to a trance. The body goes slack. The fins stop correcting. The animal that travels thousands of miles a year, that almost never stops moving, simply hangs there and lets it happen. Divers describe it as watching something enormous fall asleep with its mouth open. Now, a caution, because this matters. The cortisol research comes from reef fish, not from instruments inside a wild whale shark. Nobody has monitored the hormone levels of a 20-ton animal mid-cleaning. So the mechanism is a strong inference, built from related species and observed behavior, not a measured certainty. Anyone who tells you otherwise is guessing louder. There's a second layer to the signal. Cleaner wrasses perform. Before contact, they move with an exaggerated rocking motion, the back half of the body swinging in a distinctive rhythm. Biologists call it the cleaner dance. It's an advertisement, a visual sentence that reads, "I'm not food, I'm staff, and I'm open." So stack the signals, the stripe, the dance, the stroking fins. 3 separate channels, all firing at once, all saying the same thing. That's what stands between a 4-inch fish and a 5-foot mouth. Not strength, not luck. A message, delivered correctly, to an animal with no reason to listen, except one: it needs the service. Because here's the payoff nobody expects. This has nothing to do with cleanliness. A whale shark doesn't care about looking good. What it cares about is airflow, and its entire respiratory system is a set of delicate filtering surfaces that thousands of gallons of seawater pass through every hour. That system can clog, and a clogged filter feeder is a dead one. Think about what's in that water: parasitic copepods, isopods, algae, anything that can latch onto living tissue and hold. They accumulate on the gills and the filter surfaces, and they don't fall off. And the whale shark cannot reach them. No hands, no beak, no way to scrape its own gills, not one mechanism for self-maintenance. So a heavy parasite load isn't cosmetic. It reduces the surface available for oxygen exchange. It irritates and damages the tissue. It interferes with the filtering that brings food in at all. The animal starts getting less oxygen and less food from the same volume of water. It doesn't collapse in a day. It declines. Slowly. For months. Which finally answers the question. The whale shark doesn't hold its mouth open out of generosity. It holds it open because that little fish is the only tool it has. It's not a guest, it's maintenance. It's the cleaning crew for a respiratory system that cannot clean itself. The giant isn't sparing the cleaner, it's hiring it. And that flips everything. The largest fish in the ocean, an animal with essentially no natural predators at adult size, depends on something it could swallow by accident. Its survival is subcontracted out to a 4-inch fish. Remove the cleaners from the reef and the giant has no backup plan. None. That's not dominance. That's dependency. But some fish take this arrangement much further than a quick visit. Certain remoras don't just clean and leave. They move in. They live inside the whale shark's mouth and gill cavities, semi-permanently, gripping the interior surfaces with a modified suction plate on the top of the head. They stop being visitors. They become tenants. Picture the environment they've chosen. Total darkness. A constant torrent of water rushing past at feeding pressure. Low oxygen. Massive muscular gill plates opening and closing around them. And every few hours, the walls of their home fill with whatever the shark just inhaled. That's the address. That's where they raise the odds in their favor. And the rent is absolute. That suction grip is the only thing keeping the remora in place. Lose it for a moment and the water flow decides where it goes, deeper into the throat, or into the gap between the gill plates as they close. There is no recovery position in there, no second attempt, just water, muscle, and timing. Now here's the piece we still can't solve. Whale sharks are among the most extreme travelers in the ocean. Tagged individuals have covered thousands of miles, crossing entire ocean basins in a single year. They don't hold territory, they don't have a home reef, and yet they show up at specific cleaning stations, on purpose, over and over. So which is it? Do they actually remember the location of specific stations across those enormous distances and navigate back? Or do they simply recognize the universal signal, the stripe, the dance, the behavior, wherever they encounter it, and stop? Nobody knows. Both explanations fit the observations, and they imply very different things about what's happening in that brain. And I'll be direct with you. That question is open. It is speculation, not established fact. Tracking data tells us where these animals go. It doesn't tell us what they're holding in their heads while they get there. We're looking at one of the largest, most photographed animals on Earth, and we still can't say whether it remembers an address. So drop the image you were handed. The mindless mouth. The dumb vacuum drifting through open water. What's actually out there is an animal that recognizes a signal, suspends its most fundamental reflex on receiving it, and holds that suspension while its own food walks around inside its throat. Because breaking the arrangement would eventually kill it. No contract, no enforcement, no shared language. Just two species that discovered, somewhere across millions of years, that they were worth more to each other alive. And it holds. Every day on reefs nobody is watching. So next time you see a whale shark with its mouth wide open, look inside for the small striped shape. If this changed how you see the ocean, subscribe, hit the bell, and tell me in the comments, memory or pure instinct. I read every single one.